Another low budget review. This kind of is a follow-up review to my In the Heat of the Night review that I did a couple of days ago. So I had mentioned in that review that I had gotten this movie at the thrift shop, which then prompted me to go get In the Heat of the Night. But apparently this is the third movie trying to loosely connect itself to In the Heat of the Night. There was a second movie called how am I going to phrase this so it sounds better? It was called They Call Me Mr. Tibbs, and that came out the year before this in 1970. The Organization came out in 1970, or 71 actually. So in the Heat of the Night, the Virgil Tibbs character is from Philadelphia, and there's a poignant scene where him and the police chief of Sparta, Mississippi, are at his house reminiscing and talking about their lives and personal business. And the Rod Steiger character says he's never been married, never had kids. And this was 1967. And the Virgil Tibbs character, same situation, almost married, never had kids. And then apparently the movie that comes between this and In the Heat of the Night, you see him move from Philadelphia to San Francisco, kind of playing off the Steve McQueen Bullet movie, San Francisco vibes, detective type movies. This movie didn't need to be made, in my opinion. It only has like a 23% Rotten Tomato score, 5 out of 10 IMDb. It is awful. Lots of plot holes. Characters are just very cheesy. The scene sequence, whoever was cutting this movie and editing it, it's just really bad. And then there's like in the movie from 1967, which is only 4 or 5 years earlier, they make it a point to say that he was never married and never had any kids. And then in this movie, we find him with kids that are like over 10 years old and a wife, which kind of contradicts what it talked about in the first movie. Basically, this character to me is just tied in name only to the other character. It doesn't make sense. It's like it's produced by the same guy that produced the other one, Walter Murix. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Not the same director, but it's just basically like a whodunit type of situation about these drug lords. So that's like the one interesting takeaway. It's just saying how there's like this shady underworld that has immense power, more than any government organization, and it's all based around the drug trade, specifically heroin. But that's kind of where the movie lost me. The chase scenes were just It's just all over the place. I am going to give, this is just a very brief review. I'm probably going to be less than 5 minutes in talking about it, because to me it was just forgettable. I'm going to go 1 out of 5. It's just so choppy. The characters were just super cheesy, kind of trying to be like this kumbaya group of hippy-dippy people that want to go out of their way to sabotage these elite drug cartels. And then there's like these allegations that the San Francisco Police Department's narcotics division was tied in with it. None of that stuff is ever really explained. It just the movie just kind of ends abruptly, and you're just like, wait, what? The movie's over? You're rolling credits? Like, what? This just doesn't even make sense. So, no spoilers. I am debating donating this back to the thrift shop. I feel like I don't need it in my collection to tie into the first movie. I will have to go find that They Call Me Mr. Tibbs movie and watch that, because apparently that movie kind of sets up the explanation of him being in San Francisco. But, you know, sometimes movies are made just to be made. I guess you have the budget. They were trying to play off the fame from the first movie, but it's just not worth the watch. So that's my quick sub 5 minute review for today. Until next time, we'll see you then.